This is the Xiaomi 14. And here are 4 reasons why you should get it and 2 reasons why you should not. And I'll compare it with the Xiaomi 13 to let you know if it's better. So the first reason you should get it is the build quality. So if you love how the Xiaomi 13 looked and felt in your hands, then you will surely love the build quality on this. The very solid and sleek design language is carried over from the previous generation, but a little more refined. The mirror-like finish to the phone's aluminum sides and the Klaus de Paris inspired camera deco around the camera bump added another layer of premiumness to the camera bump. And in case you do not know, that Klaus de Paris is a French term for a design type that is usually found on premium watches. That is pretty fancy, huh? But fancy words aside, yes, the little finish on the camera bump was great. Not mind-blowing or anything, but nice to have. Then the phone's back is slightly curved, making it super comfy to hold. But the mirror finish is a fingerprint magnet, so if you're like me and fingerprints on your phone drives you nuts, you might want to lean towards the white variant. It also has IP68 dust and water resistant, although it is expected since the previous variant has one, but yes, it's always nice to have. Then from a build quality's perspective, the significant upgrade is the screen, as now it has a Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is a massive leap from the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the Xiaomi 13, so you're getting a much tougher screen on this phone. Now speaking of screen, the next would be the display. Now although both has the same screen size, the 6.36-inch Crystal Res AMOLED display on the Xiaomi 14 was indeed a minor but a great upgrade thanks to its higher 1.5K resolution. Now since it has an LTPO panel, the dynamic refresh rate goes from 1 to 120Hz, giving an overall smoother performance. But the huge upgrade is the 3000 nits of peak brightness compared to just 1900 nits on the previous generation. Now this made me appreciate the phone a bit more because based on my first impressions, it was bright and vibrant even seeing the screen under a harsh sun, but not to a point where it blasts the brightness up like crazy. Then other screen features like HDR10+, Dolby Vision, the TUV Rainland Eye Care with the incorporation of DC dimming across all brightness range were a huge plus during extended usage when using the phone daily. So whether or not you're just using the phone daily and watching videos, this phone is an excellent video consumption device, having Widevine L1 playback specifications and HDR10 support on Netflix. And while the bezels were a bit reduced on the Xiaomi 14, but I wouldn't say that the differences were night and day, but it does sometimes look like I have a bigger screen. Then on to number 3, the bigger Leica camera sensors. Now the Xiaomi 14 features a huge step up in the camera department when compared to the Xiaomi 13, where instead of just one 50-megapixel main camera, all 3 of the lenses are 50 megapixels. And yes, these are all proper camera lenses that are usable. Not like some who has a dedicated macro lens, a dedicated depth sensor, a black and white sensor, or whatever similar rubbish lenses that some other smartphone makers tend to have. And with this new Light Fusion 900 image sensor, surely has better dynamic range and more details thanks to its bigger sensor too. And because of the fact that the 50 megapixel lens is for each focal length, hence you can take high megapixel mode images on each of the lenses on the Xiaomi 14 compared to just using the main lens and a 2x crop on the Xiaomi 13. So yes, if you're a kind of person who really needs a high megapixel photos on your phone, then you have a very versatile option on the Xiaomi 14. Then the ultra-wide lenses look extra crisp once again thanks to its bigger 50 megapixel sensor, and the focal length on the Xiaomi 14 is wider at 14mm compared to 15mm on the Xiaomi 13, so that was nice. And thanks to its new image sensor, you get an aperture value of f1.6 instead of f1.8. Hence, there will be more light and details on the new Xiaomi 14 for the main lenses as seen in these sample photos. And the aperture value remains the same for the telephoto lenses, and the focal length is slightly different where the Xiaomi 14 is at 46mm compared to 23mm, hence I needed to adjust where I was standing in order to get somewhat of a similar compositions to compare these shots side by side. Now, I wouldn't say that the Xiaomi 14 was a million times better or what, as these images were more or less the same over here, especially if you're comparing the 75mm focal length on each, as they have the same aperture value at this particular focal length. Then portrait mode on objects was also better on the Xiaomi 14 when compared side by side, again thanks to its better focal length, where it was nice and versatile with different distances to switch between 23mm and 60mm compared to just only one focal length of 75mm on the Xiaomi 13. As for portrait mode on humans, although the shallow depth of field and background blur were flawless on both, but the Xiaomi 14 did look nicer on the composition side since it is wider, even with the same aperture value, and overall better skin tones on the Xiaomi 14 as well. Then both has the same master lens system to get a dedicated effect and focal length if needed in the camera app. And the Leica Authentic and the Leica Vibrant is also here in the Xiaomi 14. Then as for the selfie images, the skin tones on the Xiaomi 14 once again is slightly better than the Xiaomi 13. Then the Xiaomi 14 can shoot up to 8K 24fps, where both qualities were same except for probably just a slightly difference in color. And since I'm not a fan of 24fps, I've been using the 4K mode since it can go up to 60fps. And here's how the video looks like side by side at 30fps. And speaking of 4K recording, finally, one major reason why you should get this new Xiaomi 14 over any other Xiaomi phones is because this particular generation has 4K front video recording. Like, finally! And yes, the image stabilization and most importantly, the quality were amazing, as you can see over here. It also records in Dolby Vision format, and here's a sample video and audio recording on each phones. Okay, so this is an audio quality test and also a vlogging test, and finally Xiaomi has 4K video recording for the front camera. So congratulations Xiaomi 14, you finally made it in 2024. But yeah, here is a video and also audio quality test for a vlogging situation. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2. Then there's a new movie mode on the Xiaomi 14 where you can shoot cinematic videos with 2.39 by 1 aspect ratio, which is commonly used in the film industry, so that is a nice cinematic touch to the phone's video recording capabilities. Then as for the images at night, you can see overall better results on the Xiaomi 14 since the image sensor is bigger as mentioned earlier, and so was the video footage as well. Now if you guys are enjoying this kind of comparison content, it would be awesome for you to give this video a like to help bring this video up in the algorithm to tell YouTube that this video was great for you, and a subscription will be lovely too. Thank you very much in advance. Then reason number 4 is the fact that the Xiaomi 14 comes with a new HyperOS built-in straight right out of the box. Now this is the second device to be shipped globally that has HyperOS built-in since the Poco X6 series, and it is finally the best revamped UI compared to the older MIUI, which I was never a huge fan of. There's a new lock screen customization, including adding a depth effect similar to the iPhone. Yes, it is the same, but I'm not complaining because it is a good integration. Then speaking of an iPhone-like feature, there's a sort of a dynamic island kind of effect that gives you a pop-up at the top part of the screen when you're charging the phone or changing the ring mode as well. Then the control panel also had a makeover too, where it's looking super nice and clean, plus there are tons of visual tweaks all over the place like the menu and widgets. Now as mentioned in my Poco X6 versus video, this HyperOS is looking to be the future of Xiaomi devices that will be not only powering their upcoming smartphones but also the entire ecosystem of Xiaomi devices. And yes, this includes their tablets, earbuds, speakers, vacuum cleaners, TVs and more. And while the HyperOS has just released on the Xiaomi 13 here in Malaysia, but knowing the fact that the Xiaomi 14 already ships with one is a huge plus for me. Now as of the recording of this video, I did not get the official word on how long the software updates will be supported yet. So I'll update that as soon as this product officially launches globally in the pinned comment below. Now as for the bonus reason of getting the Xiaomi 14 over the Xiaomi 13 is the bigger 90-watt charger that comes inside of the box, as you get only a 67-watt on the Xiaomi 13 instead. And finally, other notable features include the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 4nm chipset, Dolby Atmos audio playback with 4 mic arrays, and great connectivity features of Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth version 5.4. Now let's move on to reasons why you should not consider getting the Xiaomi 14. Now reason number 1 is the battery life on the Xiaomi 14 might be a point of concern because this phone has a fantastic and a very bright display, but at the same time this amazing screen could take a huge chunk of battery life despite the fact that the device comes with 90 watts of hypercharge that can charge from empty to 100% in 31 minutes, and also wireless hypercharge up to 50 watts. The battery is still 4610 milliamps, and that might not last you the whole day and isn't a huge upgrade compared to the previous Xiaomi 13 which has 4500 milliamps. So yeah, while charging speed is great, but the actual battery capacity daily might leave you looking for a plug before the day is done. Now, if you want a recap of everything mentioned, don't worry because there will be a written version of this whole video at our website at www.adamlobo.tv. The website links will be down below. Then reason number 2 on why you should not get it is that as of the recording of this video, we don't know what is the exact retail price of the Xiaomi 14 in Malaysia. Then there's a whole deal with the Pros and the Ultra models because we are all sitting here just wondering whether or not they will be making a global debut, and if they do, will they even be showing up here in Malaysia or other parts of the world? Well, it's all up in the air right now. So yeah, if you're planning to get your next smartphone, this could be a little headache. You might be dreaming about a Pro or the Ultra, but without any official word, it is a waiting game to see that if those dreams can be a reality depending on which country that you're at. However, if you're curious to know more about the previous Xiaomi 13, check out my in-depth review of that over here.